Hello everyone, this is Hooks and Fred. My name is Linda and my better half is John Boy. And we're new to YouTube and we asked you to like, share, and subscribe if you hear or want to share anything with us. In the beginning, we started this channel and how we came up with that name was Loving to Fish and Love to Sew. So that's how we generated the name of Hooks and Thread. Okay, well, first thing first, we want a little entertainment. And I've seen this little joke and I want to share it with you. I thought it was really, really cute and appropriate for our age group. It says, the cop pulled me over and asked me why I was trying to get there so fast. And I replied to him, I am in a hurry before I forget where I'm going. Well, only people our age can relate to that, but I certainly can. But John Boy does most of the driving, so I'm not responsible for where we're going or how we get there, just so I get where I want to go. That's the main thing, right? But, you know, we're going to share a lot of Jesus on this channel, and I want to encourage you today that no matter what you're going through, that Jesus will make a way for you. You know, so many times we've been right down to almost death, and God raised us up. Only 2 years ago, my husband, John Boy, had a massive heart attack and was on life support for 12 days. And they told me there is not much of a chance that he was going to make it. So I got on Facebook and I started asking God to pray, asking people to pray, to lift John up in exactly what he needed. And his kidneys had shut down and been shut down for 3 days. And they told me that if they didn't begin to work again, they were going to have to unplug him. And oh no, I wasn't going to have that. So after 3 days of no urine, and I went in the next morning about 8 o'clock, which is about a 3-hour drive from where we live. And lo and behold, he had urinated so much that the RN said, could you pray that it'll stop because I'm humpback from carrying the urine. So, you know, God does answer prayers, and he will and can. You know, all of us know that he can. But what we always say is, will he do it for me? And the answer is yes, he'll do it for you. So I want you to remember that as you go along in life and you get up to our age and you realize and look back so many times what God has brought you through. So many times. So many times that we can't even count. But I just wanted to share that with you, and I just want to share a short devotion, not to bore you, but just a little bit of encouragement in your life, because we all need the encouragement. It says, all who, led by the Spirit of God, are children of God. So you have not received a spirit that makes you fearful slaves. Instead, you received God's Spirit when he adopted you as his own children. Now we call him Abba, Father, for his Spirit joins with our spirit to affirm that we are God's children. And since we are his children, we are his heirs. Romans 8:14, and that come out of the New Testament. God is a good Father. He loves you with a love that is matchless and unwavering. Our earthly Father have important jobs. Whether a devoted man, guidance models the Father truly perfect and boundless love, or a flawed man, brokenness leads us to the Father, healing and compassionate love both lead us home as children of God. And I'll end with this. Father, thank you for your immeasurable greatness. You have adopted me into your family, and I am so grateful to be called your child. You truly are the perfect Father. That's the truth, because, I had a perfect father, I thought, here on earth. And having 6 brothers, and me, I was the only girl, and I was the baby of the family. And this is John Boy.
And here I is.
And here he is.
I'm a miracle of God.
He is truly a miracle of God. And we had so many praying.
Yes, I'm not supposed to be here, but God wasn't finished with me.
Amen.
And I'm going to get off of here. This is her video. But God bless you.
Thank you. John, I never miss the chance to testify. Stand up and testify for what the Lord has done for you. And that's another important thing. So, I just wanted to share all that with you this morning. And every day we'll be sharing something that might help you along as you become, 60, 70 years old, 80, 90, and you can't get out of the house. There's not much you can do. Well, I understand that too, because truthfully, we both have been there in our lives. But getting old, well, when you start getting old, you start forgetting names. And a lot of people just get really, really upset about it. But let me tell you that everyone does this, and they don't have to be up in age. This happens to almost every age, but we notice it more when we become our age, because more people are watching us to see if we're senile or do we still have it together. But I assure you that everyone forgets people's names. Another thing is when we become a little bit older, we can be doing something and all of a sudden we just get exhausted. And we just have to take a short break. Now some people will take 2 or 3 hour break, and that's okay too if that's what you need. But all of us usually have to say, gotta sit down a few minutes. And that's completely normal as well. But in a lot of older people, they say we go all the time, we're always on the go, and they gain weight. Well, when we get our age again, we have to do a little exercise. It sure wouldn't hurt us to get out and walk to the mailbox, which our mailbox is probably a half mile from our house. But it doesn't hurt to walk, if you're able. Of course, we're in Arkansas, and we came from Louisiana, and we have extreme heat here. And so we have to be very careful of when we do walk, because you'll become overheated. And the best time of day to walk is, of course, in the morning time, because as the day goes along, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter. So a lot of people say they're going to wait till the late evening. Well, usually here it doesn't cool off in the late evening at all. So if you want to get cool or do it in the cool, you better get up early in the morning and get started. Okay, and the next thing, when you're our age, you find yourself going to the doctor more. When I was 60, even 65, I hardly never went to a doctor. I mean, that was just something uncalled for. But now you find yourself going to all kinds of doctors, dermatologists, because I have skin cancer very bad and I have light skin and used to stay in the sun a whole lot. Heart doctors, regular doctors, whatever. neurologist. I have two ruptured discs in my neck and do a lot of suffering, and my husband does too. So we find ourselves going to the doctor way more than we want to go, but it's something that we have to do. Another thing, when you're our age, you get lonely. You're really, really lonely. You know, your children don't have time for you. You know, you can't just go and run like you used to and go have a party and invite your children and your grandchildren, or they're not having parties. They're going where their children are. So you find yourself just alone. And it's not only you, it's us and millions of other people that you find yourself really, really lonely. You'll find that lots of your friends have died, or lots of your friends have moved on to somebody else doing something different. But there is some things that we can do. We can always pick up the telephone and call somebody. Call somebody that you hadn't heard from in a long, long time. They'd love to hear from you. And they're probably lonely too. And if they're your age, they probably are lonely. So reach out and call somebody, even if it's only for 10 minutes a day. You don't have to call the same person. Call a niece or a nephew or a brother or whoever you got. Like me, I started out with 6 brothers, and I have 1 brother left. And he's on up in age as well as I. But, you know, we do keep in touch. And how you doing? We don't see each other often because I moved to Arkansas and he lives in Louisiana. But we still love one another, and that's what's important. But even you'll find yourself bending down. Bending down is really hard for some people. And more especially if you have back problems, neck problems, vertigo. You know, that all goes with it. So, and I have this beautiful cap on. And I have a beautiful cup. Yeah. And my niece that lives in Zachary sent me this for my birthday. And she also sent me a rod and reel that matches this cup and this cap. And as soon as the pollen gets a little better, I'm going to be fishing. Because John and I both love to fish.
Hopefully our boat.
So we had to put our boat in the shop. It's been broke. And we had taken it to the shop to get it fixed. And they charged us $500 and something. And then we got it home and took it out, and it never did run right. And just right after that, John had that heart attack. So by the time we got around to taking it back where we got it from, they laughed at us, which I understand that. I really, really do. But thank you, Pi, for my cup and my cap. But more than anything, I'm going to enjoy the rod and reel. It was just my kind of rod and reel. Okay, we're going to continue. There's a few more little things that I want to put on this of getting old and getting older and realizing that you're getting a little older. You'll find yourself waking up more during the night, and then you can't go back to sleep. Now, this one applies to me. I can usually sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, and my sleep is over. That's it. You know, it's terrible when you can't go back to sleep, but that's usually the way it is. Also, our vision changes. I know just last month I had to go and have my eyes done again. And now I'm waiting on another appointment because my left eye was blind. But now I can see a little bit out of it, and hopefully, as we go along, I can see more for sure. Another thing, we find ourselves grumpy or short-tempered, and that's because we stay alone. We get lonely, we get unhappy with ourselves. But let me tell you, there's so many things you can do. If you can see how to read, get you a good book. I love books. If you can't see how to read too good, get you a Kindle and get into book clubs, and you can make those fonts as big as you need them, And that's really a good idea too. And also they make now adult colored books. And I have some of those, and I carry them with me when we're traveling. Going to the doctor, we travel 3 hours there, 3 hours back. So I'll color because when I'm in a vehicle, I get very, very nervous. I lived in Los Angeles for many, many years, and I saw so many terrific accidents. So I'm just scared to death of being in a car. So I color, and John likes that. He'll be happy to buy me a color book just so I'll have something to do when we're going down the road. But you stop bathing and you stop taking care of yourself. You're not going anywhere. You're not seeing anybody. So it's just easier to wear your pajamas all day. It's easier not to want to comb your hair or whatever. You even get where you don't eat right. A bowl of cereal is sufficient. If you eat a sandwich, which I've never been a sandwich eater, so I cannot relate to that. But anyway, your diet does get much, much more simple. So you need to eat right. And by all means, take a one-a-day vitamin of some sort. Because you're not going to eat right if you're alone, and that's for sure. And get out more if you can. Even if you can just take your walker, walk out on the porch. A lot of times I just walk out on the porch. But the pollen right now is so high. And I have asthma, so I really don't want to be walking even on the porch because of the pollen. And even the pollen filters itself somehow in the house. I guess through the air conditioning vents or whatever, but it has a way of finding you, and you don't want to find it. If you can get out, which I know that some of us is very limited, but if you can get out, try to make you a visit to a nursing home. I never realized what people go through in a nursing home. And John was in a nursing home for a couple months because of the heart attack he had. And they call it a rehab therapy, which is nothing really but a nursing home. They do a few little exercises for about 30 minutes a day, and they call that therapy. But anyway, those people, they get in there and they never see anybody. Some of the residents have been there for years and don't see anybody. So if you can visit a nursing home, you don't have to know somebody. All you have to do is walk around. They would love for you to come, even the employees.
And talk to them.
And if you can sit down and talk to them, we used to do a lot of gospel singing. And we went to the VA nursing home every month. And the name of our group was Joyful Noise. And I used to start the soundtracks, and I would take my mic, and I'd walk around to each, and of course all the residents there are males. And I would walk around to each resident, and I'd be playing an old tune like I'll Fly Away or Amazing Grace or something real that they knew. And you wouldn't believe what kind of good voices some of them had. And they loved it. Several of them took the mic out of my hand. And, one of them even told me I was a praise and worship leader. So I can sing. And he did. He did a good job. But I want to sum this up today. I know this short. I'm going to try to do a video every day if I can. And days that I can, I will. I want you to please pray for us. And if you'll leave whatever in the comment section and you need prayer, we'll be happy to put you on a list to pray for you. And we don't pray just one time a day. We pray 2 or 3 times a day, whatever God leads us to pray. And if you want to keep up with me and John and what we're doing and the things that we have to say, will you please like, share, and subscribe? It would help us so much in the long run. But until we meet again, I'll pray for you, you pray for me, and be kind to one another. Goodbye.